I currently have 27 books on my physical TBR, and we gotta get that number down because I want to buy new books. And a lot of them are the second in a series that I really want to finish, and I don't want to start any more series until I finish ones that are out and released. So today we're going to be reading the book on my TBR with the highest average rating on Goodreads and the book on my TBR with the lowest average rating on Goodreads. Stressing me out so bad. Sometimes I agree with ratings on Goodreads and sometimes I disagree with ratings on Goodreads, so I'm curious to see how these books pan out and if my opinion aligns or diverges from the Goodreads average rating. Let's start with the lowest books on my physical TBR. So the third lowest is, oh my gosh, why did I put them like this? I'm gonna drop everything. A Door in the Dark, and I actually read the first chapter of this a long time ago. I got it because it was a Barnes & Noble pick of the month and it was buy one get one 50% off. This is a YA fantasy. It's the first book and I haven't really heard anybody talking about it. This has an average Goodreads rating of 3.85. I've thought about unhauling this book because I haven't been tempted to pick it up since I put it down, but I'm like, maybe one day I'll get to it. We'll see. If this is still on my shelf in a year and I haven't read it, I'm unhauling it. The second lowest rated book is this book right here. I'm just gonna have to, yeah. At this point, that's just what it's gonna be. I don't know why they're all over here. The American Roommate Experiment. I read The Spanish Love Deception by her either last year or the year before and I did not like it. Like, it literally pissed me off. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I think I'm gonna make a video of reading books set in New York City and might read this in there and we'll see if this changes my mind. I'm not like a one and done type with an author, so we'll see. Like, one and done meaning if I don't like it, I'm never reading one of her books again. Maybe I'll like this one. We'll see. This has a 3.81 on Goodreads. And then, drum roll please. Again, why are they all over here? The lowest rated book on my physical TBR on Goodreads is How to End a Love Story. And I'm really excited for this book, so it kind of surprised me that it's the lowest rated. This has a 3.68 average review, which I feel like is still pretty good. I know it's about a screenwriter and an author. It's set in LA. I know she's been working on Emily Henry's book adaptations. I'm honestly excited to read this one, even though it is the lowest rated. I'm curious to see if I'm gonna agree with that. 3.68 is still a good rating. I feel like maybe, like, it's not like a 2. I don't know if I've ever seen a 1 or a 2 on Goodreads. This will be our lowest rated book. Now for the highest rated reveals. The third highest rated book, where is it? Is Demon Copperhead. This won the Pulitzer Prize, so not surprised. This is one of the highest rated books on my TBR with a 4.48, which a 4.5 average rating with 546,000 reviews. That's amazing. The second highest rated, coming in at a 4.5, so very close to this, is The Ballad of Never After. This is the second book in a series, which makes sense why I have the first one here, and it's even more highly rated than the first one, which the first one is 4.06, so it's a pretty big jump. And this has a little over 300,000 reviews. I don't know if this is surprising or not to you guys, but the highest average rating on Goodreads is a 4.63, and that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is clearly a beloved book and a beloved author, but it has 1.5 plus million reviews and it has a 4.63. Like, that's insane. I'm so excited to read this book. My cousin just read it a few weeks ago and said it might be one of her favorite books of all time, so I'm really excited to be starting this. These are the two books we have for this video. We're gonna see if they live up to their ratings on Goodreads. Do I agree with the average rating? Do I disagree with the average rating? Let's find out. So I'm starting with The Nightingale, and I texted my cousin, who I was talking about earlier, that I'm gonna start this book. Thor's going crazy. But I told her I am gonna be starting this book and she said buckle up. So I guess we're gonna go on a journey together while I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. There's always like 3, what's it called? Title pages. Is that natural? Also, this book is heavy. I'm around 100 pages in. Oh my goodness. This is almost 600 pages. I don't remember how long the woman was, but this is a long book and I feel like so much has happened already. We're following 2 sisters who live in France during World War II occupation, and their last name actually means the nightingale. The Nazis are occupying France and it's hard. Like, it's really sad. One of the sisters seems to be very outspoken and can't really hold her tongue. So I'm not really sure where that's gonna get her, but it makes me nervous. I have kind of hope. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's really sad. And then the other sister, she is basically trying to keep her daughter safe, and her husband was fighting for the French. It's been a lot. It's been very riveting. I feel like it's been easier for me to get into this one than it was the woman. I don't have much to say right now, except I was just like tearing up at that last part. Wow. It makes sense why so many people read Kristen Hanna's works. I feel like she handles topics like this and war and things that actually happened so well, even though like this is obviously fiction, but it's based on real events. 1.5+ million people reviewed this on Goodreads, so that means probably more have read it, since not everybody goes on Goodreads. Sorry, ratings. Sometimes people don't rate the book, so it's intense, but it's really good. I have a lot of books still left, so there's a lot to go through. I don't know if yet I fully understand why my cousin said buckle up, but yeah, I've been buckled. I'm gonna keep reading and see how far we can get. Stressing me out so bad. I have so many chills. I'm like a little over page 300, so over halfway through, and I keep getting chills. It's so hard because this book is fiction, but it's based on real events, and it obviously being set in France, Nazi occupied France in World War II is very hard to read about, but it's good. It's so good. Again, I just have the chills all the time when I'm reading, and it's stressing me out. It's making me nervous. I'm like, just feel horrible for all these people that are going through what's happening in the country, and feel excited for the main character and what she's doing to try to help, and feel for the other main character who is struggling and like doing what she can to survive. It's so good. It took me a little bit to get into. But once I got into it, like, I am into it. I'm literally gonna start crying. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, alright, sorry if this gets blurry at all, but I'm going to hang out with some friends tonight. I have a little bit of time before I leave. I want to read a little bit more, maybe finish this chapter. I didn't read it all since the last time we talked. Yeah, I'm like thinking about a rating, which is kind of hard because I'm like, how do I rate a book like this? It's kind of how I felt during The Woman too. It's like, it's based on real experiences. Obviously they're fictional characters, but like actual real life people went through these things, are like similar things to what the characters went through. The event that just happened in France happened in real life during World War II in Paris. So how do you rate that? Hi Thor, do you want to say hi? He doesn't like to be held, but he'll lay on me if I'm laying there. He just doesn't like to be held. Anyways, obviously I'm not finished with it yet, but it's just making me feel so many things. And I'm like, so many people experience this. Again, I feel like everything I'm saying applies to when I read The Woman too. One of my grandpas fought in Vietnam, and I thought about him a lot when I was reading this book. And then my other grandpa fought in World War II and was literally a paratrooper in World War II. This book has a lot of like downed airmen come up in it, and I'm like, whoa, that could have been my grandpa. The point is, it was somebody's grandpa in real life. It's intense. It's really good, and I think important, but it's intense. Also, do we like the new camera? Is it too good? The GoPro just doesn't cut it at night, and I want better audio to improve quality for you guys. So let me know what you think. Tears. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, I finished The Nightingale, and it thoroughly destroyed me. I was reading the last chapter just bawling my eyes out, and I don't even know how to write a book like that, especially because it's based on, obviously the characters are fictional, but real people went through similar things to what the characters went through. So I'm like, how do you even rate that? It was probably one of the best books I've ever read. It was actually insane and horrible and sad and inspiring at the same time. Oh, I just can't believe how people can be so evil and like do so many evil things. Like World War II and what happened during that time to millions and millions of Jewish people and people who tried to help them and good people because they were trying to do the right thing. So messed up. The last like 30% of the book just destroyed me. So obviously it's set in World War II, and then I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's 2 timelines. So like once every 100 or so pages you'll get a glimpse into Oregon in 1995 following someone, you don't know who until the end. The majority of the book is set during France in the war over the span of the 5 years from 1940 to 1945. If you want to read that book, like be in a good headspace because I'm wrecked. So it's probably good that our next book is a rom-com. I don't know what else to say about it, you guys. The Nightingale, read it. I think it's important, incredibly well done and thoughtful and provoking. Just what these characters went through and what real people went through. I can't get over it. I'm gonna be thinking about this book for a long time. I already want to reread it, but I don't think I can put myself through that again right now. And I don't think I'm gonna rate it because it just doesn't feel right to give something like that a rating. It makes so much sense why that book is so highly rated and has so many ratings on Goodreads. I didn't realize this, but when I was marking it finished on my Goodreads, it says that it was one of the 2015 Choice Award winners, which absolutely makes sense. So far, the first book, I agree with the high rating, even though I didn't rate it myself. You guys already know our next book. I'm really excited to finally get to this. I believe it's a Reese's Book Club book now too. So let's read How to End a Love Story and hopefully boost my mood. Also, The Nightingale took me so long to read, like over a week. I had to step away from it a couple times because I would be reading before bed and I'd be like, okay, I need to take a break because it's very intense. So I'm hoping this will be a nice palette cleanser, change of pace. I think it was like a 3.6 something. So we're gonna see if I agree with the lower rating on this book. This is the first time I've brought Thor to my parents, and their cat Rocky is not having it, so Thor's a little anxious right now. They've hung out before, but not in this house since my parents have lived here. Normally my grandma watches Thor, but he came with me this time. Yeah, it's been interesting. I think this is in third person. I feel like I normally don't read a lot of romances in third person. It's more of like a fiction or mystery thriller or fantasy thing. I'm about 54 pages into this book, chapter 6. I'm enjoying it so far, but I have like no idea how they're gonna get the main couple from where they are now. Obviously at the end of the romance book, they get together. FUs have been exchanged. They're just not budging these past 50 pages. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I'm following Helen and Grant. Something really awful happened to both of them, and it was the same thing, but they were kind of on different sides of it. They haven't seen each other since then, because that was when they were younger. And then it's like 13 years later and they come together because he's a screenwriter in Hollywood and she is also in the writing room because she's the author of the book they're adapting to be a show. It's brutal. I feel bad for the guy, I feel bad for the girl. They aren't getting any breaks, and we're seeing a little bit so far like about the way they think about themselves and how they think about the world and kind of the faces they put up and what worries them, which I like. But I would love to get a little more romance instead of them just saying F you. He's so cute. Guess I'm talking about you. Alright, obviously me and Thor are back home now and I can't get up because he's sitting on me. So if the audio is bad on my phone, I apologize. The laundry is running. But I want to update this before the sun goes down, if you can tell. We're getting in the last few hours of daylight, even though it's literally 2. Anyways, I made it a little further in How to End a Love Story, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm on chapter 13, almost to page 150, closing in on that halfway mark. Right after I finished the last clip, the tables kind of turned a little bit in the dynamic between the two main characters, and you could kind of start to see the romance and the attraction building, but there's still kind of that elephant in the room. Up until kind of honestly now, I feel like we're getting to the elephant in the room a little bit. Yeah, they're hanging out together more. Maybe their perspectives has changed a little bit about each other, which has definitely turned the tables a little bit. I also feel like this is written more like a literary fiction. Like, we're pretty focused on the characters, and the relationship definitely feels slow burn. It's not insta-lovey, it's not really in your face, but I don't hate that. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm curious to see where their journey takes them and how they kind of get over this thing that's been between them, and when they actually start getting together, what does that look like? I'm excited to keep reading, and we'll hopefully finish this soon. So far, after every time I've said something about this book, it's changed. Last time we chatted, I said it's been kind of a slow burn so far for the romance, but yeah, that like totally went out the window a few chapters after me saying that. It definitely, maybe not like 0 to 100 because it was kind of building up, but like 20 to 100 on like the physicalness. I was like, what? It just kind of came out of nowhere, but I'm still enjoying it. I want him to have a little bit more of an emotional connection since I feel like we kind of got pummeled in the face with the physical connection, but we'll see where that ends up. They seem like they could have a really nice emotional connection, but I'm just not sure when that's gonna come out. The female main character is kind of reserved. They have these perceptions about each other that are kind of getting broken down now, but I want them to be broken down even more. So would love to see more of that as I continue this book. I'm on chapter 19, so a little over halfway. There's definitely a lot of space for things to progress and happen and them to evolve and their relationship to grow and flourish. Wait, why am I kind of obsessed with them? No, they're so cute. I keep like biting my words. I should just not speak anymore until I'm finished with this book because everything I say just gets turned around in like the next few pages. I finished How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong, and I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. So if I didn't mention this already, Helen is a writer who is going to LA to work on adapting her book to a TV show, and Grant is also a writer in the room, but they have a complicated past because they went to high school together and are connected by this really tragedy that affected both of them and their lives and like how they think and their mental health and all of that. So I really liked all the underlying plots in this book. The screenwriter plot was fun to learn about, the family drama and the parent dynamics between the female main character and her parents, and then also the underlying event that had kept them tied together and how that played into the relationship. I really liked how all of that was done, and it was written in a more literary sense, and we really got to know the characters because of that, so I really enjoyed that. I feel like this was very much melodramatic, and the characters were like, I will die without you, like my life will not go on without you, which was fine. I don't think that like contributed to the rating of the book. It did have a very tortured, dramatic vibe to that aspect of the relationship, and then as you saw me reading, the relationship started off very much, I cannot talk to this person because of the event of the past, and then it went from like maybe like 15 or 20 to like 100 in the physical connection, and that was like, ooh, okay. And then there were also some things that were brought up a couple times with regards to the character's mental health, and I wish that would have gotten brought up again later in the book to like see where the character was at with that thing that was already brought up a few times. So just a couple things minor that I am being nitpicky about, but yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I'm happy I read it. This is a new author to me. I think this is her first release. I would read another one of her books. I'm really excited to see what else she comes out with. I'm also excited to see how she adapts Emily Henry's works to the screen. I think this had an average Goodreads of like around 3.5, and I gave it a 4. It was very different from a lot of romances that I've read, which I like when things are different, and her writing style is really unique in the sense that it's more literary but still a romance. I rated it a little higher than the average Goodreads rating, which I think is common, and I think it's good to take the opinions of others and what they say about books, but everybody has their own experiences that contributes to a rating, so just because someone else didn't like a book doesn't mean you won't like it, or rated it lowly doesn't mean you'll rate it lowly. Maybe it's a book you'll love. Reading is really so individual and subjective, which is amazing, and that's why I truly believe there's a book for everyone. So I'm really happy I read this. I feel like this was a fun challenge to see the highest rated book and the lowest rated book. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have read any of these books, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of Bookmas. I think we have, depending on when this goes up, either 9 or 8 days left throughout December, so stick around. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!